Everything good that Donald Trump has, he inherited. He's not a self-made man, as he likes to profess. He was given $60.7 million by his father to get him started in life. You'd have to be pretty foolish to squander that. But wealth is not the only thing that Donald Trump inherited. He inherited a growing economy with low unemployment, strong job growth, and the fewest number of uninsured Americans in a decade. You'd have to be pretty foolish to squander that, too, yet squander it Donald Trump did. When he ran for office, he promised tax cuts, a doubling of economic growth to levels not seen since the 1980s, broad-based prosperity and fair trade, which would lead to 25 million new manufacturing jobs. In Donald Trump's lie lay the promise that even the least among us would thrive under his administration. But even before the pandemic, which was made far worse by his own mishandling of it, he had failed to deliver. Just like all he had to do with coronavirus was follow public health recommendations. All he had to do with the economy was not mess it up. For the first 3 years of his presidency, Trump got away with kicking the can down the road on most of his economic policies. Tax cuts, he said, convincing the very poorest in this country into thinking that a tax cut for the wealthy would be good for them, too. He cited specifics about how debt would decrease and the average American family would see a $4,000 more bump in their pay. That didn't happen. 4% economic growth, he told us, maybe even 5 or 6%. Of course, that didn't happen either, and that led America into a trade war on all fronts, leading farmers on a roller coaster ride that hasn't stopped, pushing the world into a precarious economic position that the coronavirus then turned into a global recession. Through misstep after misstep, his base stood by him, waiting for those promises to be kept, but he didn't do it, or he couldn't do it. Couldn't do it then, and he certainly can't do it now. There are 107 days until the election. The time is running out for Trump. His poll numbers are collapsing. 50% of all registered voters strongly disapprove of the president. And a new poll from Quinnipiac shows that even his approval on how he handles the economy is dropping. It's gone from 52% a month ago to 44% now. Of the 60 promises he made in his contract with the American voter, 13 were economic promises. 9 of those promises were broken before the pandemic and the recession that he wants you to forget that we're living through right now. He had 4 years to make good on his promises. He didn't do it when he had the chance, and he can't do it now.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.